from the school board. So
Without-
I'll go see Eli, which he's under the weather, but he'll tell me what to do.
Okay,
Okay? I know that Levi spoke to you because he told me he spoke to you.
he did.
Okay, so we'll ask, I'll go to Eli directly, and then he'll probably send me over to Levi, you, but we'll get it done. Because they've asked, several of them have asked for this, just not Levi Gate. So,
Okay, under old business, land by the old mill inn, do we have definitions yet of who owns what property there? Was that given to the attorney last month or no?
I don't believe so.
Well, Artie brought it up, right?
Yeah,
And I understood that we don't even know who owns the property and who owns the bridge. And you researched the
yeah,
bridge.
I researched the bridge. The
Yes.
town owns the bridge.
Yeah, now there's land on both sides of that bridge. And we have somebody who would really appreciate having that land. And if we can, you know, I'd like to accommodate them, get a little something back on the tax roll. It isn't just a question of the bridge, it's a question of, the triangle of land there too, that nobody seems to be sure who owns it.
It's easy enough to find out. I can find out who owns that triangle piece. You mean that small triangle piece between the Old Mill Road and Route 5?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's easy enough to find out.
Okay,
Pull
all
up the tax map on that.
right.
But in this case, if that guy would probably, Mr. Pont would have to go to that guy and say, listen, this is my intentions. He may have to buy that piece off of him. So it's only
One guy or the
one-
state?
One owner. Well, it depends.
It's an approach to a bridge, so I'm not sure.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know what to tell
so we own the concrete?
them. I think so.
That bridge is town's.
I don't want to.
It's nice that we, yeah, that's super.
Okay, so we'll table that pending further information. We're not gonna bother the attorneys with it?
I wouldn't until we get more information on it.
Okay.
What about the youth center? Are they asking for their?
New business, Community Youth Center. In the board packet was a letter. They're requesting a donation. I believe we did that last year. And if I recall correctly, the amount is the same.
Make a motion, we give the youth center their $1,420 in the budget.
Do we have a motion? Do we have a second?
I second it.
Do we have a second? Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carried.
I'm saying,
You, okay. Okay, we've got a piece of paper here from our West Grand Street neighbors. Looking for us to get on their website or join them or whatever. Any thoughts on what we should do with that?
I didn't know we had to do anything with it. I thought it was just informational
yeah,
for anybody to jump on that website.
do we have to?
When I was teaching, there was a movement to provide free web services for universities. And what it really was a medium for you to look at all, and have your students look at all their ads. So this is probably just a marketing venture of some sort.
I would have to look at the site and see what the hell it is before I do anything, so.
But we needn't take any action on that.
Correct.
Yeah.
I say we table it.
What's their approval?
Sure. You're absolutely right.
You wanna put that in the form of a motion?
No, he's right. We didn't take any action, so why table on something we're not gonna take any action? So.
We're just not going to do it. Okay. All right, the Association of Towns. You got that letter?
I move we join them.
Crude request for money.
But if
We do find them useful in
Yeah.
research and I feel they're worth it.
It's only $800.
I'd like to entertain a motion to
I move that we pay them.
renew it.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion to renew and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, motion to pay the abstracts.
So moved.
Ready?
Second.
Hank?
Second.
Discussion?
Yes, discussion. Mr. Supervisor, looking at your supervisor's report, budget report, it seems, and don't worry, you guys are gonna get paid, but we are over budget on line item 1420.4, which is attorney contractual.
Yes.
We're actually $941, so before we can pay an abstract that we're over, we have to take money from somewhere and put it into this account. So
Is there a check there going to the attorneys?
it's a voucher to pay it, and we will be $941.54 over budget. So yes, we need to move money into that account.
Okay.
So, we had budgeted 20,000, we're at 20,941.54. I make a motion that we take 6,000 out of general fund and place it into 1420.4.
Okay. Do we have a second?
How much, Chris?
6,000, because it looks like that's what we're gonna need to finish out the year.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, Sean seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Abstain. Okay.
Now we can sign it.
All right, now,
Where'd you wanna take that from, Chris? I didn't-
It's gotta be general fund, because we don't have another line item at this moment that we can move to there, and without scanning the budget, but it's gotta come, we gotta pay the bill, so.
okay, we had a motion on the floor to pay the abstracts. Who made that motion?
Okay.
I second.
Betty,
The second.
Hank seconded.
Hank second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, public comment. Yes, sir.
Well, what I'm gonna say is not just history. I've tried to preserve the history of the town of Palatine for all the years that I've been here. I've been here for 77 years, and I've been to a tremendous number of these meetings. And most all of them were quite peaceful. Unfortunately, we have had some in later years here that should have happened in a bar room, not in here. Now, I'm sure that none of our town officials want to slight the plowing in either one of your villages. But I'm also sure of another thing. When I came here, the town plowed Route 10, not the state. And when the town plowed it, my father-in-law had a big farm up here, and lots of times, well, there'd be a big snowfall, and if you had a long driveway, it might be pretty hard to get the milk out. And the town plows would go on there and plow those driveways until they found out that it was against the law. Now, I believe that the only thing that it would take to not be against the law was to have a contract, which I don't think either one of these villages has a contract. And there's another thing. Does our insurance carrier have an opinion on this? I think that's an important thing. And the reason
The
why
highway
is,
portion of the
yes,
contract is by the mile.
well, the thing of it is, if there's a little fender bender or something in a village, maybe that would be taken care of. What would happen in case of a fatality?
Anybody else? Yes.
At the risk of agitating people, I'd like a little bit more clarification on the conflict of interest in the manual. It says town officer, municipal employee, public official, employee, consultant. So I have two questions. Does this apply to the rule of speaking in a public hearing? Does that apply to all elected officials, such as the county clerk and the supervisor of transportation? The second question is, does it also apply to all of us volunteers who are on boards?
I don't have an answer for you. The attorneys,
I'm really asking our two attorneys.
you know, the attorneys are right in the room.
I will answer that when I look up that case law, because the case that I'm thinking of specifically dealt with a town board member at I believe it was a zoning board function, a zoning board meeting where there was something contentious. So I have to get back to you on that. I don't know the answer.
It would be very helpful because as the whatever board I'm on, the planning board, as we have public hearings, if somebody wants to speak and we realize that they should not be speaking, then we need to stop them from speaking. We need to let them know that they don't have that right to speak.
Yeah.
And I'll just add to that, one of the things that I think we need to learn as boards, as members who come to these meetings, that we have to handle our laws and our rules with common sense. And the purpose of these laws is to avoid a conflict of interest, to avoid the influencing of somebody for your own benefit or the benefit of somebody you're standing up for. So when you serve on a board, it is prudent to not speak because you don't put yourself into that position. And so there may be something that you can say that doesn't fall into an influential, realm, but it can easily fall into that. So I think our recommendation is that if you serve on boards, if you're volunteering for the town and you're in positions where you could influence somebody else, it's best to refrain. It's the safest position you're in. And if you feel compelled to speak, I think both Kirsten and I talked about it, presenting something in writing, it at least gives the board the opportunity to review your thoughts, which may be helpful, but they're not there influenced by you speaking, emphatically or whatever, and they have time to think about it ahead of time. So that's just a general approach to handling your role as a town board, or official, or volunteer, anything, is to just try your best to avoid these types of situations. I don't know if that helps.
Well, it helps for my own behavior, but it doesn't help me as a board member at a hearing to be able to monitor who speaks and who doesn't speak, quite frankly.
If you recognize there's someone, maybe you can speak up and just say, we'll take that, send that to us in writing. Maybe we can think about how to come up with things like that if those things happen.
So I don't understand, so my understanding is that is the concern that it's influencing other people, or the concern that it's influencing the decision makers? So then why would you give something in writing?
I'm thinking it's only elected officials because you're putting them on the spot in public rather than giving them an opinion. So they're, someone, I think Chris had begun one of the meetings asking, wait a minute, we aren't supposed to be having this meeting because we have 3 board members present. Doesn't that constitute a quorum? And there's ruling that says you can be in the meeting as simple board members, as residents of your community without representing the board. However, as soon as you start speaking as your elected official, your influential position as an elected official, now you're putting the people that, in your case, the planning board, which you're not elected officials, you're putting an influence on them in public, which I think that was the influence that this case ruled on. I'm thinking it's only elected officials, so let me get back to you on that part, and I'll try to clarify all the questions that you just brought up. I'll clarify further.
Kirsten, I'll talk to you offline, but I'm very confused on this.
Yeah.
Because if an elected official can't speak, say at the planning board meeting, because they could influence a non-elected official, is there a designation of them speaking only as a resident? Or are you saying that the conflict of interest law would say they can't, they're prohibited from
I'm saying
speaking?
I'm gonna look this up. and-
Okay.
I like to sometimes give my general opinion, I don't think you should wear both hats.
Okay,
I just think it's, you know, we complain about our politicians because of the influence that they have over people and how they know people and crony capitalism and all the
I'm
things
only
we're
asking-
talking about.
I'm only asking this because in our planning board meeting minutes from August 7th, on the solar farm, Betty spoke, and on the chicken processing, she spoke. So if she can speak as a resident, then that's completely fine, but she's influenced, it's exactly what you said.
She was told the same information you were
Yeah,
told,
what she told-
right, Betty? You shouldn't talk, because you are an elected official and you might influence the board. So I wasn't only directing a comment to Hank.
No, I'm just mentioning, because now, subsequent to that, there's obviously September 4th, there's a discussion here, not September 4th, in August. So, okay, so the rule is, you feel, your legal opinion is, we just shut up at other meetings, elected officials. Okay, got it.
I will give you a more formal opinion once I look it up.
Thank you.
Which would also include Linda. Linda spoke up at one of those meetings as well, and she's elected.
I'll look it up.
Yeah.
I will give you more information. I don't have the answer.
You know, it's a lot clearer, a judge has to be very careful with who they associate with, who they go to lunch with and things because of the appearance of impropriety. But they have a code of ethics to follow. The board doesn't, you know, and it's developing, so it's not so black and white. And so I guess we're giving you the most cautionary position to take, which is try not to appear like you're influencing people, you know, for your own benefit.
Anybody else? Bob?
I have noticed that this building that we're sitting in does not have a street number, and I think it would be a good idea to put a street number on it for at least 911 purposes, so somebody doesn't have to say, well, it's located between Price Chopper and Country Farms gas station. The number is 141.
Okay. Yeah.
I'd like to just speak a couple of minutes on behalf of the plowing situation that you brought up at the special meeting. And unfortunately, I guess I'm going to ask some questions, otherwise I'm never going to get anywhere. Is it my understanding on what you rambled on with tonight, which is another rambling of what you did at the special meeting, that now you are going right into negotiations on something that is probably illegal and not talking to the villages? When we left here a couple of weeks ago, I did make an idea that we should meet as a 3-member group, and I felt that that was the best way at the time of the meeting. But once I digested the entire meeting, I heard conversations in the parking lot out here from council members and others, and then the entire village board was here that night, as most of them are tonight, the ones that could stay long enough. We felt that there was no need to start negotiating with, quote, the town board until the town board made a decision that, quote, you are not plowing the village streets. So my first question is, and at that special meeting, if you remember, there was not one member of your own board, including the town clerk, who actually knew what you had passed. I give all due respect that Linda said, hey, I don't have the minutes drawn up yet, but you never all understood what you had passed or not passed. So my first question tonight is, have you decided and passed the motion that you're not plowing village streets?
We have not passed a motion that we're not plowing village streets.
Okay.
That
that's the
has
first.
not been done.
Okay. My second comment is, I don't really find a lot of enjoyment of spending 2 or 3 hours here to micromanage the town, but once things are made public, then you have to respond on the behalf of your taxpayers. And just a simple comment tonight from Skip saying, well, would you be covered under insurance? Please, Skip, they have insurance on the vehicles, they can travel the whole United States. They haven't figured out how to cross the oceans yet with those vehicles, but you have coverage. So my point is, as soon as this conversation starts, everybody seems to nitpick and have a great idea, okay? My next question is, you, Mr. Supervisor, made the comment that you were informed by your attorney, and I'm not sure which one that is, okay?
I did not say by my attorneys. Quit putting words in my mouth.
Well, if that's the case, then tell us what you said. You told us you had an opinion
Yes,
from an attorney
yes.
that it was, quote, illegal to plow village streets.
Without, keep going. What's the rest of that sentence that was in the letter?
There was no sentence in the letter. That was the comment that you made at the meeting.
We will not be plowing the village streets without some kind of an agreement with the villages.
Right, but that's not my
Period.
question tonight.
Period.
Your
Period.
comment was that it was,
Period.
that it's illegal.
That's right.
Okay. Have you shown, are you able to show that?
No,
Again, let me just finish my statement, please.
Okay.
Again, based on the fact that you made public comments to that, and based on the fact that myself and other board members represent the village of Palatine Bridge, or one of the entities that you're talking about, that forced us, again, to spend time and energy, and maybe even dollars, to research that. We have found no such law, Mr. Supervisor, that says it's illegal for you to do that, okay? So unless you can prove.
what did I say was illegal?
For the town to plow village streets, you said was illegal. And you said you've been breaking the law forever, and that you're gonna correct it. That was your statement.
Why it is illegal is because it is a misappropriation and misuse of town funds.
Okay.
That is the opinion I got from a lawyer. A lawyer will tell you that you have to take
A
the
lawyer-
taxpayers. Let me finish.
Sure.
Don't be impolite. You have to take the taxpayers' funds and apply it where the taxpayers live, in that municipality. We cannot apply funds in the village of Palatine Bridge if that money was supposed to go to the town of Palatine. Now, I can't identify, like I said this morning, exactly how many dollars of the town's funds go into the town of Palatine and how much your taxpayers have paid through 3 budget cycles. I don't have the answers. I am searching for them. I will have them by September 20th.
Okay, so let's dissect that comment then, all right? You've just made it,
Go
everybody's
ahead,
heard it,
dissect
okay?
it.
That comment, that you cannot plow the village streets with town money, okay? If you read the law, and the law was sent to me by numerous people that I don't even know, okay? But the law says, yes, you can plow the village streets.
With an
if-
agreement.
No, excuse me.
Yes.
The law says you can plow the village streets if the tax dollars are appropriated to the correct fund, which you just said yourself. You can plow that.
Yes,
Okay, if you look at your own budget and your own disbursement of those tax dollars, the village residents pay the same exact rate as the town. And if you look at the law, that is saying that that's why you plow the village streets, because you're already taxing us to do that thing. And you basically just said that tonight, but you carried on. So the first thing is, it is not illegal to plow the village streets, as you stated. The next thing is, what you just stated, as long as the money is appropriated from the town to the villages to plow, and there's the same rate, that you're under an obligation to plow the village streets, which is what you've been doing for over 40 years. So then the next question goes back to, why would you stop that? The
How
next
much
part-
money?
The next.
How
Mr.
much?
Mr. Supervisor,
How much?
if you can't figure out your own budget, how would a guy on the
That's
street
right.
figure it out?
That's right.
But you also said tonight, and I quote, that we found out, and now it's funny, you don't know the answer on one side, but you made the quote tonight, that you found out that the village residents of Palatine Bridge have paid double in the past years of what they should be paying.
No, I didn't
Yes,
say, no,
You said that because I wrote down exactly what you said.
no, no.
Okay.
They paid double what they paid the year before.
No.
You wrote it down wrong, Jim.
Okay, I wrote it down wrong. So we're paying double of what we did the year before, but now the supervisor wants to take away a service that we've had for over 40 years. That is legal to do.
I don't wanna take it away. I'm going to shift the payment for it. You are going to pay the amount of tax that it takes to plow the streets, either through your own budget or through ours.
And we do that
That's the
now
question.
because under your own budget, sir.
No, you're not doing it now.
Under your own budget.
3 years, we had 3 different answers here in dollars.
But there's only
And
one
that is
answer you
the
gotta look at.
misappropriation of
Look at you.
public
I have the
funds.
copy of the last 5 years of your budget,
I
okay?
don't care.
I know, you don't
Good
care
for
about
you.
anything, all right? Your budget says that you had a highway in and a highway out tax, and they were identical percentages. That says by law that you were charging the villages to pay or plow the streets, and that's why you plowed them, okay? You know. And then I guess my last comment or question would be, is the Village of Palatine Bridge invited to your now September 11th meeting to discuss whatever you're going to discuss? Because believe me, it's hard enough to follow what goes on here, all right?
You don't have to come if you don't want to.
So you're just,
You already said you're not going to come.
I didn't say that.
Oh, you didn't. I must have misread the paper.
I didn't stay here for what paper?
Yeah, what?
I've never given you any paper.
Hmm.
I've never given you any paper, sir. I stayed here for hours last time, I stayed here for hours tonight,
Mhm.
okay? I represent the Village of Palatine Bridge. I represent my board, all right? It's not just Jim Poe standing
You
here.
don't represent your board. The people do. And your board doesn't all think the same. Some of them would love to cooperate and try to get to the bottom of this and have a halfway decent resolution to this problem.
Mr. Supervisor, at our last village board meeting, the entire board was there, minus one board member who could not be there for personal reasons. The entire village board discussed this matter. The entire village board was in agreement that we would not negotiate until we found out for sure that the town was not going to plow our streets. The village board is united, okay?
Okay.
We are allowed to have different opinions, but when we walk out the door, if we've made an agreement, we've made an agreement and we're united,
Okay. Then as of January 1, we won't be plowing
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Palatine Bridge.
Whoa, we never said that.
Chris?
I'll take a vote right now. Would you like a vote on that?